Vietnam has not only established itself as a manufacturing powerhouse, but also as a leading global agricultural exporter, encompassing various types of food such as seafood, fish, and land produce. Vietnam's agricultural output exceeded $64 billion, surpassing that of Thailand, which stood at $50 billion, and nearly double that of the Philippines. The only country that outperformed Vietnam in this aspect was Indonesia, which has a significantly larger land and population. An important highlight is Vietnam's impressive cereal yield of over 5.95 tons per hectare, the highest in the Southeast Asia region. These facts demonstrate the significant growth and remarkable efficiency of Vietnam's agricultural industry, which many fail to recognize as a crucial component of the country's overall economic growth. To fully appreciate the magnitude of Vietnam's agricultural achievements, let's first take a look at some key facts about the sector. Agriculture plays a vital role in Vietnam's economy, contributing to around 12% of the country's GDP and employing nearly 24 million workers. Vietnam's main agricultural products include rice, coffee, pepper, cashew nuts, fruits, and seafood. The country is blessed with a diverse range of climatic conditions and fertile soils, which have allowed for the cultivation of a wide variety of crops. Its two main agricultural regions are the Red River Delta in the north and the Mekong Delta in the south, both of which are critical for rice production. With a strong emphasis on agricultural development, Vietnam has managed to become the world's third largest exporter of rice, trailing only India and Thailand. To understand how Vietnam became an agricultural powerhouse, we need to go back in time and take a look at its history. Before the 1980s, Vietnam was a predominantly agrarian society, with the majority of the population engaged in subsistence farming. However, the agricultural sector faced numerous challenges, such as outdated farming methods, limited access to modern technology, and a lack of infrastructure. In the late 20th century, Vietnam underwent a significant agricultural transformation, largely driven by the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution was a global movement that aimed to increase agricultural production through the use of new technologies, including high-yielding crop varieties, chemical fertilizers, and irrigation systems. This revolution helped Vietnam to dramatically increase its agricultural productivity and achieve self-sufficiency in food production. Land reforms have also played a crucial role in shaping Vietnam's agricultural sector and boosting its export revenues. Following the end of the Vietnam War and the reunification of the country in 1975, the newly formed Socialist Republic of Vietnam initiated a series of land reforms aimed at redistributing land and promoting agricultural growth. In the 1980s, the Vietnamese government shifted away from a collectivized agricultural system and implemented the Household Responsibility System. This reform allowed individual households to be responsible for their own production and to sell any surplus products on the market. The HRS significantly increased farmers' incentives to invest in their land, adopt new technologies, and improve agricultural productivity. This shift towards a market-oriented system also led to a diversification of crops, as farmers started to grow higher-value crops such as coffee, fruits, and vegetables, which fetched better prices on the international market. As a result, Vietnam's agricultural export revenues began to increase rapidly, helping to lift millions of farmers out of poverty. In the 1990s and 2000s, the Vietnamese government introduced a series of land law reforms aimed at improving tenure security for farmers. These reforms included the issuance of land use rights certificates, which granted farmers long-term, inheritable rights to use and transfer their land. By providing farmers with greater security and control over their land, these reforms encouraged investment in agricultural improvements and allowed for more efficient land transactions. The improved land tenure system also facilitated access to credit for farmers, as land use rights certificates could be used as collateral for loans. This increased access to credit enabled farmers to invest in modern agricultural equipment, high-quality seeds, and other inputs, further boosting productivity and export revenues. Notably, land reforms have played a significant role in Vietnam's success as an agricultural powerhouse. In contrast, the Philippines' ability to execute proper land reforms has negatively impacted its agricultural output, with a disproportionate number of elites possessing vast tracts of land, leaving many citizens with insufficient resources. This has led to both inefficient production and a rise in rural poverty. Vietnam's approach to land reform distinguishes it and is comparable to the agricultural powerhouses of East Asian countries known for their impressive economic transformations. Another important aspect of Vietnam's land reforms has been the promotion of land consolidation. Small and fragmented landholdings are a common issue in Vietnamese agriculture, which can limit the ability of farmers to take advantage of economies of scale and adopt modern farming techniques. To address this issue, the Vietnamese government has been promoting the voluntary consolidation of landholdings, with the aim of creating larger, more efficient farms. This process has been facilitated by the improved land tenure system, which allows for easier land transactions between farmers. As a result, many smallholder farms have been able to pool their resources, reduce production costs, and increase their access to markets, ultimately contributing to higher export revenues. The remarkable growth of the Vietnam's agricultural sector has translated into substantial export revenues for the country. As of 2021, agricultural exports have reached a value of over $64 billion, making Vietnam one of the largest agricultural exporters in Asia. This impressive performance has significantly contributed to the country's foreign exchange reserves and played a crucial role in its economic development. Despite the fact that many people may not fully grasp the significance of this concept, the importance of export revenues in contributing to a country's foreign exchange cannot be understated. To illustrate, when Vietnam exports rice to neighboring countries or even the United States, it receives foreign currencies in return. This foreign currency can be utilized to purchase manufacturing equipment or to fund other initiatives, such as reducing debt or financing imports. This trend is comparable to the experiences of Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea, who all had a surplus of agricultural export revenue that they used to drive their industrialization. Vietnam, following in their footsteps, has leveraged its strong agricultural exports to support its rapidly expanding manufacturing sector, which is increasingly competitive on a global scale. In addition to the Green Revolution, Vietnam's agricultural success can be attributed to a series of government policies aimed at promoting the growth and modernization of the sector. In 1986, Vietnam initiated a series of economic reforms known as Doi Moi, which led to the liberalization of the agricultural sector and the dismantling of the state's monopoly on land ownership. These reforms allowed farmers to cultivate their own land and sell their products in the market, giving them a greater incentive to invest in agricultural production. Since then, the Vietnamese government has continued to support the development of the agricultural sector through various policies and programs, including investments in infrastructure, research and development, and extension services. These efforts have been complemented by the growing role of the private sector, which has invested heavily in agribusiness and the modernization of the value chain. One of the key factors behind Vietnam's agricultural success has been its ability to diversify its agricultural production and shift towards higher value crops. While rice remains the country's stable crop, farmers have increasingly turned to other crops with higher profit margins such as coffee, pepper, cashew nuts, and fruits. Vietnam is now the world's second largest exporter of coffee and the largest exporter of black pepper and cashew nuts. The country has also experienced rapid growth in its fruit and vegetable exports, with key products including dragon fruit, lychee, and longan. The diversification has not only helped to increase farmers' incomes, but also bolstered Vietnam's overall agricultural export earnings. In conclusion, Vietnam has undergone a remarkable transformation in its agricultural sector, emerging as a leading global agricultural exporter and significantly contributing to the nation's economic growth. This transformation can be attributed to a combination of factors, including the Green Revolution, land reforms, government policies, and the growing role of the private sector in the development of the agricultural sector. The diversification of agricultural production and the shift towards higher value crops have also played a key role in bolstering Vietnam's export revenues and farmers' incomes. Vietnam's impressive agricultural accomplishments serve as a testament to the importance of a well-developed agricultural sector as the foundation for broader economic development and prosperity.